Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to Channel 1 News Hour on a day when, of course, the country continues to record coronavirus cases, currently standing at over 18,000. So it's time for us to take a look at what the figures really look like. Yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta addressing the nation as regards some of the measures that the government has taken in place, but still we continue to see a surge in COVID-19 cases. So what do the numbers look like? So let's just take a look at the figures that have been read out by the Ministry of Health today. And we begin with the number of people who were tested in the last 24 hours. And we're looking at 4,888 who were tested in the last 24 hours. And of these, 606 have tested positive. Obviously, the numbers continuing to rise. In recoveries, we're also reporting some positive news. 75 people have recovered from COVID-19, and we are looking at the death toll also rising, now standing at 14 persons who have passed away in the last 24 hours as a result of this particular disease. Let's also look at the numbers who have been tested in the country since the first case was reported way back in March, and we're looking at 284,500, quickly approaching the 300,000 mark. In terms of confirmed cases, we are looking at 18,581 who have since been confirmed positive for COVID-19 in Kenya. Total number of recoveries also increasing, 7,908 persons have recovered from COVID-19, and sadly we are almost hitting the 300 mark in terms of the numbers of deaths in Kenya, standing at 299, which is about 1.6%, obviously lower than the international standards, but still predicted to rise as time goes by. So that is how the numbers look like. Obviously not very good news, and we continue to encourage you to ensure that you observe the measures by the Ministry of Health. Well, let's now take a look at other stories that are shaping the news tonight in the highlights. Heated debate as senators consider controversial revenue allocation formula.
COVID-19 has essentially turned us into lethal bullets that could kill our loved ones if we are careless.
COVID-19 positive cases hit 18,581 as 606 persons test positive for the virus. What next for Beatrice Elachi? Testing times for Nairobi County Assembly Speaker as a section of MCAs plot her ouster. Welcome back. My name is Catherine Achieng'a. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Lucy Mwaura. Let's begin our coverage tonight, and we begin with the latest from the Ministry of Health, which is indicating that the country's coronavirus caseload surged past the 18,000 mark on Tuesday after 606 more people tested positive for the virus. The country also recorded 14 fatalities, with the Ministry of Health warning that the situation will only get worse if Kenyans fail to heed to the COVID-19 containment measures aimed at flattening the infection curve. Nancy Okware starts off our bulletin tonight with that update.
It was yet another grim statistic on the COVID-19 situational report, with the country recording a further 606 positive cases out of 4,888 samples tested and an additional 14 fatalities over the last 24 hours. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe on Tuesday issuing a stern warning against bar and restaurant owners intending to sell alcoholic drinks to clients, despite the ban issued by President Uhuru Kenyatta during his address to the nation on Monday.
And those outlets, such as big wines and spirit areas, which we have not closed, must not be converted into parking lot drinking sprees. Going forward, sausage bili, soda moja. It's a new norm.
The CS saying that irresponsible drinking was costing the nation and that no premise flouting the guidelines will be spared.
Kama una kabaya yako, tafadhali tafadhali usifungiwe. Ukifungiwa, sasa wewe ni lazima pengine uende kuanza kushuka ng'ombe, na wewe hujui mambo ya kushuka ng'ombe kwa sababu wewe unajua mambo ya kuuza pombe. Hata kuna watu wengine hujawahi kuwaona hata siku moja. Kila siku ukimwona asubuhi anakuwa na macho nyekundu. Sasa hata pengine tutapata nafasi ya kumuona na macho meupe kidogo.
The sentiments coming on a day when the number of positive cases surged to 18,581.
COVID-19 has essentially turned us into lethal bullets that could kill our loved ones if we are careless.
Nairobi County is still an area of concern after it recorded 448 new cases, with Embakasi East having 84 new cases, Westlands 46, Langata 39, Dagoretti North 36, and Embakasi West 33.
If you are living in the Embakasi area, you need to know that Embakasi is a hotspot, and further measures may have to be taken as regards the containment.
Kiambu recorded 54 cases, Kajiado 25, Machakos 16, while Uasin Gishu and Nakuru each had 11 cases. The number of those who have recovered also rose to 7,908 after 75 patients were discharged, with 14 fatalities registered, out of which only 9 had non-pre-existing conditions.
One had cancer of the bone, called multiple myeloma, one had cancer of the esophagus, and the other one had end-stage renal disease or kidney failure. 4 did not have any coexisting medical condition.
With the number of confirmed coronavirus cases in the country having surpassed the 18,000 mark, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe is cautioning Kenyans against flouting the guidelines that have already been set out in a bid to contain the invisible enemy. Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Well, thank you, Okwari, for that. Now, senators are currently seated in Parliament, continuing to debate the controversial formula in which counties can be able to share out revenue. It has been a heated debate the whole afternoon. Senators extending their sitting in the House as they seek to unlock this particular deadlock. And currently they are debating proposed amendments by the Senator for Nairobi, Senator Johnson Sakaja, who is seeking to find a formula that will be acceptable to all parties. Earlier on, we had seen the minority leader, Siaya Senator James Orengo, attempting to have this debate postponed, but that was not allowed by the senators. So let's just listen in on what is currently happening in the Senate as they seek to unlock the deadlock.
Fair to Sakaja's motion when we gave Kangata 3 hours and we are giving Sakaja 1 minute. Honorable senators, this motion is in the House, so it is not him who is supposed to complain or not to complain. It's us. This is our property. Honorable senators, going by what Senator Susan Giga and a few others have said, it is now 9:05. It is time to interrupt the business of the House. The House therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, 4th August 2020 at 2:30 p.m. So be ordered.
Live feed coming to you straight from Parliament. Obviously, senators sitting beyond the 6:30 period, way into the night, as they seek to find a formula that will be acceptable on how counties can be able to share out the revenue. Obviously, not being able to complete that particular debate, bringing a lot of heated discussions within the House, but we will continue to follow up and see what happens on Tuesday as they continue to seek a way out of this particular deadlock, with several amendments being proposed by the senators. In other news now, county governments are in the race against time to comply with an agreement to set up 300 isolation beds in their jurisdictions as part of measures to deal with COVID-19. In Kajiado, the county administration says it has procured 350 beds to handle the epidemic, which continues to ravage most parts of the world. This coming as Kenya received a boost in its COVID-19 fight with supplies worth over 110 million shillings from the Chinese government.
Tuesday morning, Health Principal Secretary Susan Mochache and Foreign Affairs Chief Administrative Secretary Ababu Namwamba were at Kemsa Embakasi warehouse to receive COVID-19 response supplies worth 110 million shillings from the Chinese government. Mochache saying the donation, which included personal protective equipment, sanitizers, test kits, among others, will go a long way in assisting Kenya contain the spread of COVID-19.
So I want to assure you that all the 47 counties receive PPEs either bought through their government or through partners or donated based on an allocation that is fair and that is equitable.
And when you look at this list, all our 47 counties have been given a share, from Sambweni to Budalangi, from Loitoktok to Todonyang, across the length and breadth of our republic. Everybody has been covered in terms of the geographical spread of the donation.
In the meantime, Kajiado County has manufactured at least 350 isolation beds to handle the COVID-19 cases that are currently on the rise. The beds are being manufactured by youths who had been trained by the county government in technical courses in an earlier youth empowerment program that included welding. The beds will be distributed to 5 hospitals set aside for COVID-19 response.
Kama serikali ya county tutakuwa na ICUs 4, moja ya Ngong, ingine Kitengela, ingine Kajiado na ingine Loitoktok, ambazo tayari tuko na vitanda na facilities, ventilators ya kusupport tuko nazo 20 kama serikali ya county. Niwahakikishie wa Kenya na watu wa Kajiado kwamba kama serikali ya county tunaweka matayarisho na mikakati ya kuhakikisha kwamba wale wanaathirika wako na mahali pa kukimbilia.
The development coming as Bomet's Governor Hilary Barchok said the county has traced 178 people who came in contact with the 8 COVID-19 positive cases. Barchok noted that 6 out of the 8 cases are healthcare workers and are currently isolated at Longisa County Referral Hospital.
Let us not panic. We are in control despite this rise in numbers. Let us comply with all the guidelines that we have been given by the Ministry of Health, the social distancing, the wearing of masks in public places, washing of hands or sanitization. Let us comply with those guidelines.
And Kilifi County residents have received a timely boost of bumper maize harvest that are set to cushion them from the negative economic effects of a 3-month lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. This follows a free certified seeds distribution program by the county government that saw 52 tons of maize seedlings issued to over 10,000 farmers in early April this year.
What we are doing is we are introducing caustic composite, which was lost long ago, so that now the poor farmers can plant that, and if there is a bumper harvest, they can go in and select very good heads, and they can plant for the 3 seasons before they go back to the agrovets to buy. I know the agrovets don't like that, but our purpose is to make sure the farmers plant material which is improved.
Elsewhere, the National Nurses Association of Kenya has raised concern over the rising numbers of COVID-19 cases among nurses and other healthcare workers across the country. The situation prompting calls from the association for both the national and county governments to provide healthcare workers with adequate personal protective equipment while building their capacity to handle the disease, among a raft of other issues. Meanwhile, the Kiambu Bar Owners Association says the directive by President Uhuru Kenyatta barring restaurants and eateries from selling alcoholic beverages could have far-reaching implications.
Kama wafanyabiashara wote ni wa baba mmoja wa taifa la Kenya, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Hakuna wakati unaweza sema watoto 9 waende wakacheze, lakini huu mmoja ufugie ndani. Hiyo utakuwa haufanyi haki kwa watoto wako. Sisi kama wafanyi biashara, biashara yetu ya baa peke yake ndio imefungwa. Zile biashara zingine zinaendelea.
Finally, a Form 1 student from Mwingi has touched the hearts of many after using her pocket money to buy and donate sanitary towels to other needy girls from Mwingi town. Tracy Kanini, a Form 1 student at Alliance Girls High School, donated sanitary towels to over 40 needy girls who reside within the town.
Niliona habari kwa mtandao na pia kwa televisheni, na ndio nikaona wanafunzi wenzangu wanasumbuka, na nilikuwa na pesa kidogo nilikuwa nimebakisha, ndio nikaona nitumie kuwasaidia.
Beatrice Getonyingetich, Channel 1 News.
And now inefficiencies in the criminal justice system will now be a thing of the past with the launch of the prosecutorial guidelines and automation of case management. The guidelines will help the prosecution in filing watertight cases, while automation will ensure transparency in tracking of cases and hence making the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions more accountable.
The launch of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution guidelines on the decision to charge and case management system is a major milestone in the country's criminal justice system and will greatly address inefficiencies that have bogged it down and hence resulted in delayed justice for many Kenyans.
When the Director of Public Prosecutions took office, he found when we were running a program called All for Justice, and we went around with him visiting prisons. We found that out of the 50,000 people who were incarcerated, over 50% were remand prisoners, courtesy of prosecutors. Their cases are taken very long. We found that most of those people could not afford bail terms. Some of them were in there for very petty offenses. Most of them were not represented. The DPP asked me, how do you keep tab of the cases that go to court? I did not know how to answer. He again asked me, how do you people make decisions to prosecute? Because very petty cases are going through the system. Some cases ought not to be there at all. They are supposed to be diverted. In some cases, they are supposed to be home. They are not supposed to be in remand. I told him we did not have guidelines as such.
Speaking during the launch, DPP Nurdin Haji said the new guidelines will reshape prosecutorial processes and guarantee integrity and quality of cases.
The guidelines document the steps to ensure fairness, consistency, transparency and accountability in the decision-making process, and that they are applied equally and fairly to bolster public confidence in the administration of justice. The key features of the guideline is the two-stage test, which comprises the evidential and public interest test. Under the evidential test, prosecutors will have to ascertain the reliability, credibility, admissibility, sufficiency, and the strength of rebuttal evidence with a realistic prospect of a conviction. Under the public interest test, prosecutors will consider the culpability of the suspect, the impact or harm to the community or victim, the suspect's age at the time of the offense, and whether prosecution is a proportionate response.
Haji said for the first time in history, prosecutors in the country have a framework that will guide them on who, why, and when the decision to charge is reached. On his part, Chief Justice David Maraga said the judiciary and the public prosecutor will streamline communication between the different agencies in the criminal justice sector and adopt new technology to improve efficiency in the system.
The launch of the judiciary e-filing system this month, and of the ODPP electronic case management today is a powerful signal that the justice sector is getting into the digital age. It heralds a new and promising era of limiting human factor and intervention and its attendant errors of inefficiency and corruption in the administrative and decision-making processes.
The newly launched electronic case management system enables prosecutors to efficiently dispense cases through document tracking, case tracking, and e-filing. Caroline Kamau reporting for Channel 1 News.
And now chaos erupted at the County Assembly of Nairobi after a section of MCAs attempted to serve Speaker Beatrice Elachi with an impeachment notice. The MCAs are accusing Elachi of abuse of office and exercising divisive leadership. The MCAs also wanted to serve Elachi with a court order suspending the appointment of Edward Gishana as the clerk of the assembly. Let's take a look.
It was yet another dramatic turn of events at the Nairobi County Assembly. The corridors were filled with tear gas as a section of members of the County Assembly who attempted to gain entry to serve the Nairobi County Assembly Speaker Beatrice Elachi with an impeachment notice engaged in a scuffle with a heavy contingent of police officers who were deployed to restore order. Over 80 MCAs had signed the impeachment notice, accusing Elachi of, among others, abuse of office and divisive leadership. The MCAs also wanted to serve Elachi with a court order suspending the appointment of Edward Gishana as the clerk of the assembly after the Employment and Labor Relations Court suspended his gazettement on Tuesday.
Tuko na grounds kama 6 ambazo tumepata. Ground ya kwanza ni illegal appointment ya clerk ambaye amepatia kazi juzi. Pili, ana abuse ofisi yake kama speaker. Tatu, she's really frustrating and victimizing MCAs, something that majority of the MCAs will not allow.
The MCAs accusing the police of what they term as use of excessive force in preventing them from accessing the speaker's office. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority has already contacted some of the people who were present during the chaos in a preliminary inquiry that seeks to establish the role played by police officers who were deployed at the premise during the fracas, in which at least one case of injury to a member of the County Assembly was reported. A section of women leaders present during the scuffle, joined by Public Service, Youth and Gender Chief Administrative Secretary Rachel Shebesh, later recorded a statement at the Central Police Station.
He wanted to hit my face, and then I tried to block. That's when he hit my hand. And then 3 others joined him. They dragged me down, and they started beating me from down. And I was all alone with no one else there, and there were 4 male policemen. And I was begging them to stop. They couldn't stop.
I have come here because I am a government minister. And I have been put in my position by the president for many other reasons, including protecting women. It's hard for me to see that I want to protect women against a police force that for me is very sad. But I am begging and I am urging, Elachi, my sister, stop it. Stop. Politics is about dialogue. Nobody has ever used force in politics and won. And even if you win, because you've used force and police, you will never be able to execute your mandate.
This is the second time Speaker Elachi is facing an impeachment. She had been impeached in September 2018 before being reinstated in October 2019. Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko's spokesperson Ben Mulwa has urged Elachi and her allies to desist from blaming the governor for her woes.
It is ridiculous, it is lazy, and it is obnoxious for Elachi even to try to insinuate that Governor Sonko is involved in what she is going through in whatsoever way. For example, I heard on Sunday MCAs complaining that the speaker unprocedurally appointed a clerk into the county assembly. What does Governor Sonko has to do with that illegality?
For Channel 1 News, I'm Catherine Achieng'a.
Well, interesting political times. On that note, it's time for us to take a short break on Channel 1 News Hour, but we have lots more after this short break.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, Oh, we'll take nothing for granted. And always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Sisi Kenyans, we are always ready kuzunguka for bidhaa na biashara. So, when the postal sector opened up, kila mtu started sending and selling kila kitu. And now, Kenyans have kadhaa local and international courier service providers and new e-commerce platforms. And in these times of crisis, our delivery and e-commerce networks are helping us send and receive parcels and goods purchased online safely. Now, the introduction of a national addressing system will fungua even stronger market links and leave no county behind.
Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako. The Communications Authority of Kenya, opening your world.
Je, ungependa kujua jinsi ninavyojizuia kuambukizwa au kuambukizana virusi vya korona? Ni rahisi. Mwanzo, ninaziendesha shughuli zangu zote za kikazi na hata za kibiashara kutoka papa hapa nyumbani kwangu. Baadaye, ninaitunza mwili wangu vyema kwa kuiweka katika hali iliyo sawa kupitia mazoezi ya mara kwa mara na pia lishe bora. Mwishowe, ninaungana na jamii yangu pamoja na marafiki zangu kupitia njia ya simu au mtandao ili kuzuia dhiki na upweke wakati huu mgumu. Kumbuka, haijalishi kama uko na virusi vya korona au la, salia nyumbani. Uokoe maisha.
Welcome back. If you're joining us, you're watching Channel 1 News Hour. Let's cross over to Tanzania, where local and international leaders paid glowing tribute to former Tanzanian President Benjamin Mkapa during a requiem mass held at Uhuru Stadium ahead of his burial on Wednesday. Mkapa will be laid to rest at his home village of Lupaso in Masasi District, Mtwara Region.
Tanzania's President John Magufuli earlier on Tuesday paid his tributes to his predecessor Benjamin Mkapa at the memorial service held at the Uhuru Stadium. Thousands of people in the commercial capital Dar es Salaam paid their last respect to the president on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday before the deceased body was transported to his home village in Lupaso in Masasi District, Mtwara Region for burial on Wednesday. At Lupaso village, the funeral service is expected to begin in the morning, where all people living around the village will pay their final respect. The burial service will be held at around 2 p.m. to provide an opportunity for people who want to travel from other regions to attend the ceremony. A plane carrying a Kenyan delegation to the funeral of the former Tanzanian president turned back to Nairobi over what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs described as a result of bad weather. Mkapa, who was the Tanzanian president between 1995 and 2005, died at a hospital in Dar es Salaam on Thursday, aged 81 years. For Channel 1 News, I am Emily K. Bade.
And now political jostling in the race to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta is gathering momentum as leaders position themselves in the hope that they will get the nod. Following Musalia Mudavadi's expression of interest in the top seat, his party's top decision-making organ has gone ahead and approved his candidature. But while endorsing the former Deputy Prime Minister as the party's 2022 presidential flag bearer, ANC's National Governing Council mandated Mudavadi to enter or leave any coalition, alliance or cooperation with other parties, further throwing the future of opposition umbrella NASA into deep uncertainty.
The 2022 succession battle has attracted a number of key political figures in the country. Amani leader Musalia Mudavadi has gone on record indicating that he will make another stab at the presidency once President Uhuru Kenyatta exits the stage. And even though the elections are 2 years away, his party's National Governing Council has gone ahead and endorsed the former Deputy Prime Minister as its sole candidate in the next general elections.
Resolution 6, that in accordance with Article 19.11 of the ANC Constitution, which provides that the party leader shall lead the party at all parties' negotiations so as to form a democratic government, and the NEC having duly and lawfully endorsed Honorable Musalia Mudavadi as the party's presidential candidate in the 2022 general election, the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi's endorsement be and is hereby ratified by NGC.
The NGC, which briefly convened on Tuesday at the party headquarters in Nairobi, resolved to front Mudavadi's candidature in a move that effectively locks out any other candidate keen on the position.
It is now therefore official that the highest organ of the party that makes a decision of this kind, the National Governing Council, has now endorsed and given His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi the mandate to go out there whenever it is that the elections will be, to begin soliciting for votes and for support from Kenyans as he leads the party towards the year 2022 as the presidential flag bearer. Therefore, there will be no other contenders for the ANC presidential party ticket, because now that is a closed chapter.
More than 60 delegates of ANC National Governing Council unanimously seconded the resolution, ending speculations on whether or not the former vice president will vie for the presidency. In the resolutions read by party lawyer Dr. Alutalala Mukwana, the NGC delegates further empowered Mudavadi to be at liberty to enter into or out of political pacts with other players.
Having considered, debated and concluded that strategic positioning of NC party requires the party leader to seek, identify and reach out to political partners, and NEC having so considered and resolved to empower the party leader, working with NEC to seek, consider, negotiate and enter and or leave any coalitions, alliances and cooperations with other parties willing to work with ANC both ahead of or after the 2022 general election. The resolution by NEC be and is hereby ratified by this NGC.
In that regard, the mandate includes getting into coalitions and alliances and getting out of any coalitions and alliances, including any existing coalitions and alliances and any future coalitions and alliances.
This undertaking, however, appears to place the existence of the National Super Alliance NASA into further jeopardy, with ODM, Wiper, Ford Kenya and now ANC reading from different scripts. If Mudavadi goes ahead and vies for the country's top seat, it will be his second bid after a first attempt in 2013. Eric Biegon reporting for Channel 1 News.
And now a man linked to the disappearance of two people and the eventual murder of one of the victims will spend another night in police custody awaiting arraignment in court on Wednesday. The two men are reported to have disappeared in February, with the body of one of the victims discovered at the city mortuary days later.
Dennis Ndubi Maude was arrested in Busia County on the 5th of July for his alleged role in the disappearance of Joshua Gishogi Mwangi and the murder of Ben Maxwell Mwangi. The accused is alleged to have been in contact with the two men before their disappearance. On the 20th of February, Ben's body was discovered at City Mortuary by his family, and upon inquiry, they learned that the body was collected at Ngombe Forest along Kamandura Maimahi Road. The whereabouts of Joshua Gishoki remain unknown, with the defendant's legal team pleading to have their client released on bail. Milimani Senior Principal Magistrate Sinkiyan Tobiko directed that the accused be held in custody and presented in court on Wednesday for plea taking. For Skills of Justice Channel 1 News, I'm Serafina Robi.
And now one person perished while 5 others are nursing life-threatening injuries in the wake of fresh ethnic clashes at Olpesimuru area of Narok County. Authorities in the county have linked the latest round of skirmishes to cattle rustling. Details of this story and others in our county briefs.
One person was pierced by an arrow to death following altercations between communities in the volatile Olposimoro area of Narok late Monday. The renewed clashes are said to have been fueled by an attack where one community lost 5 herds of cattle to the rival community, leading to a retaliation and further escalation of the clashes. Narok County Commissioner Samuel Kimiti has delivered a ceasefire ultimatum, warning that those who will not abide will be met by the full force of law.
Sababu ukiwa ulipigwa mchale ukiwa kwa msitu wa serikali, sasa hata wewe ni mhalifu. Unajipeleka kwa hatari kwa sababu haustahili kuwa kwa msitu wa serikali.
In the meantime, transport has been paralyzed in a section after heavy rains cut off Marigat-Chemolingot Highway. North Rift Regional Director Engineer Franklin Kipiator Kibuko said efforts are ongoing to ensure that there is an alternative route for use by motorists.
Today we have identified a detour, a route that we want to open up within a very short time, so that we ensure if the waters continue to rise, we should be able to ensure continuous flow of traffic.
This coming as hundreds of passengers were left stranded at the Migori police station as police impounded tens of passenger service vehicles en route to Nairobi. In the crackdown, the affected vehicles were found to have not complied with the government's COVID-19 public health containment measures.
Ambayo wako standard mpaka saa hii na hatuna jinsi tutafanya. Wengine wana demand pesa yao, tunawarudishia, na hiyo ni loss kwa company for the whole day.
In the meantime, the management of Muhoroni Sugar Company was put on the spot for allegedly allowing a private miller to develop and use its sugarcane plantations under the Miwani nuclei. Sugarcane farmers and workers of Muhoroni Sugar Company claim that Miwani sugarcane plantations, which fall directly under the Muhoroni factory, have been unprocedurally surrendered to Kibos Sugar Factory, which has been developing the cane estates as well as harvesting and crushing cane on behalf of Muhoroni.
The minister has given us an opportunity. We gave our presentations. We want the leasing process to continue as it is. And we want the Minister Munya to act as a minister of government. We don't want further consultations. That is our statement for today. And the farmers, we are the leadership. We are here. We are waiting for the process to start. We want to deliver cane to a mill which is going to operate to capacity.
Finally, police in Kakamega County have launched investigations into the mysterious death of a man whose lifeless body was discovered at his house by family members. The family of 40-year-old Jackson Adriano say their kin was in good health when he retired for bed and were taken aback when they found him dead in the morning.
Kwa na neno kijana ule tuko karibu sana na yeye, angekuwa na jambo libaya angenieleza mama niko ABCD. Si kijana wa kujificha, hapana. Kama kitu imemdhuru ananiambia tu mama ni hivi na hivi na hivi na hivi. Lakini kwa mshangao nimeshangaa sana kumpata. Njora ameanguka chini amelala na amefariki, mpaka nimeshangaa sijui ni nini.
Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
And now the global death toll from the coronavirus pandemic has surpassed 650,000, with nearly a third of the fatalities recorded in Europe. The United States has the most deaths, recording over 150,000 cases, followed by Brazil, Britain, Mexico, and Italy. So far, an approximated 16.6 million people around the world have been diagnosed with the virus, according to data from Johns Hopkins University.
Since the first reported case in China, the coronavirus has killed over 656,000 people and infected 16.6 million. The sad state of affairs seen in the latest figures, with more than 100,000 deaths recorded since July 9th, while the global toll has doubled in just over 2 months. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, the United States has the most deaths with over 150,000, followed by Brazil with 87,737, Britain with 45,759, Mexico with over 44,000, and Italy with 35,112. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization says travel bans cannot be kept up indefinitely and are also useful when combined with a wide range of other measures to detect and break chains of transmission. The agency said this even as Lebanon has reimposed severe COVID-19 restrictions for the next 2 weeks, shutting places of worship, cinemas, bars, nightclubs, sports events and popular markets after a sharp rise in infections. Vietnam has also locked down its third largest city for 2 weeks after 15 cases of COVID-19 were found in a hospital. Public transport into and out of the central city of Da Nang was cancelled. And amid fears of fresh spikes, Belgium is tightening restrictions. From Wednesday, Belgians will be allowed to see a maximum of 5 people outside of their families. This development coming as Germany will make coronavirus tests mandatory for travelers returning from high-risk areas. Neighboring France has also ordered night curfews for beaches in Lebanon after a cluster of cases emerged in the Brittany resort last week. Meanwhile, United States President Donald Trump said some states should loosen coronavirus restrictions, even as medical experts urge the country to shut down. The U.S. has reported nearly 4.4 million cases. China recorded 64 local cases on Monday, the highest number for a second straight day since it brought the virus largely under control in March. In Africa, Nigeria has announced secondary schools in the country, which are shut due to the coronavirus pandemic, will reopen next month. Students will have 2 weeks to prepare for the West African examination due to start on August 17. Globally, over 10.2 million patients have recovered from the contagion. For Channel 1 News, I am Emily K. Buddy.
And now it's time for the business news. But we will be taking a short break first, then when we come back, we'll look at what's happening in the world of business.
You may be in the pit. You do not see how you could get out. But the good news is that you do not have to get by yourself. The Most High God is about to lift you out. He's about to turn the medical report. He's about to free you. He's about to open new doors, bringing new opportunities, new relationships.
Kupata The Pit, bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash.
Welcome. Embakasi Utawala tuko locked. Ungem Utanyahururu Kasuku Massive.
Jesi ya Nyeri Coast Maua na Kura kwa locked mbaya.
Kigumo Ward na ambao wote wako ndani ya KBC Channel 1.
Akulaliki Wednesday bila the ref.
Mbotela Auta Idara Kitengela.
Kiambu County 33 Pipeline Meru anawakilisha.
Rongai Maboxa pale go down. Karatina Auta Mlolongo wana enjoy show. Lare Sub County Auta Githurai 45. Lanet Barracks tuko ndani yake. Okongo Auta Carnation Maragwa Seti
Nairobi.
Thika wako locked mbaya sana.
Watu wangu wa Nakuru Ngwaro.
Auta Gilgil. Live kutoka Mazeras Bahati Massive.
Embo Thika Massive.
Siaya Shikambi Kakamega Bungoma County.
Kusia Boda
Kisumu City.
Malindi yote iko ndani ya the ref.
When I'm in Kenya, I tune in to the rave. Get your mind brave, focus, conscious.
Kenya.
East Africa.
Right.
Keep it locked.
On the next episode.
Until you prove to me that that child that woman is carrying is not yours, you're not going to touch me.
You have a month. If your mother doesn't know about us, then this is finished. Agreed? My son comes before anyone. If you can't understand that, I'm very sorry, but I can't stay like this with you.
Did you hear that Juana's son is still working at the car repair shop?
Honestly, no, and I don't care.
But I do.
Who's Fabiola? She drives me crazy. You have no idea how much I like that girl. Do you know what's the best part?
What?
That you're my girlfriend. What else could I ask for? In love with Ramon.
Well, let's now do business, and the future of Kenya's largest mining company based titanium hangs in the balance due to depleting minerals and delays in approving new mines. The company says resources at the Kwale South Dune will run out in 2 years' time, while the government is yet to extend the boundary to incorporate some additional mineral resources. The company says the boundary has proven ore deposits that can last the company for another 12 months.
For the last 7 years, Base Titanium has been mining titanium in Kwale County with an investment portfolio of more than 30 billion shillings in mining infrastructure. Last year, the company paid royalties to the Kenyan government amounting to 2.5 billion shillings after earnings rose by 4.9 billion shillings in the year ended June 2019. However, the future of these investments is now in limbo. The company is facing backlash from local communities in its mining base of Kwale County, where local residents have accused the Australian firm of exploiting the region. Base Titanium holds 2 prospecting licenses that covers an area of more than 80 square kilometers, according to the company's books, and the license is valid until May 2021. The firm says it will exhaust the minerals in the current location by mid-2023, subject to an extension of its mining area beyond the Kwale South Dunes. Base Titanium's External Affairs General Manager Simon Wall says the mining tenure arrangements to extend the Kwale Special Mining Lease are progressing with the State Department of Mining. The company, which is a subsidiary of the Australian mining giant Base Resources Limited, says it does not expect earnings to drop significantly because of the coronavirus this year due to good prices of rutile, ilmenite and zircon on the international market.
And now West Pokot has kicked off a sheep and goat vaccination exercise in a bid to eradicate a disease that has affected income of livestock. Now, income of livestock keepers in the region. Now, the exercise, which targets at least 90,000 livestock, is expected to enhance the quality of milk and meat from the county and enhance food security efforts.
Despite being a pastoral county, West Pokot still ranks lower when it comes to annual meat production, according to data from the Kenya Markets Trust. In 2017, the county slaughtered 3,019 livestock, comprising cattle, goats, and sheep, out of 2.5 million livestock slaughtered during the period. The lower production has been attributed to, among other factors, the peste du petit ruminants disease that was first reported in the county in 2007.
PPR inatakana kuangamizwa by the year 2032. Na sisi kama kaunti ya West Pokot tumeanza mapema, tunafikiria kwamba labda tuweze kuiangamiza PPR by 2030.
In a bid to eradicate the disease, the county has kicked off the vaccination program in North Pokot Ward, targeting 90,000 goats and sheep. County Executive Member for Livestock and Pastoral Economy, Geoffrey Lipale, said the exercise seeks to make the region disease-free and enhance quality of meat and milk to boost income for keepers, thereby cutting reliance on food aid.
Kwa mwezi mmoja uliopita, tumeweza kuchanja mbuzi 1,102, 102,000 juu ya PPR, na tumeshirikiana na stakeholders mbalimbali.
Since PPR disease outbreak was reported in West Pokot County, more than 30,000 livestock are estimated to have been lost. Livestock keepers have been urged to avail their herds for vaccination.
Kwa hivyo sasa hizi tunapokuja kuchanja mbuzi, we have already lost over 30,000 of goats in this county. Ni kwa sababu tu katika ile period ya COVID-19. Kwa hivyo pia watu wameumia kwa sababu ile masharti ambayo tulipewa na serikali.
The program is additionally tipped to reduce inter-community conflicts, which has catalyzed the spread of PPR disease.
And now Safaricom is targeting to increase number of customers using its 4G network by facilitating the purchase of 4G-ready devices. Under the Lipa Mdogo Mdogo partnership with Google, customers are able to purchase 4G Android handsets through pay-as-you-use on a daily or weekly basis for as much as 20 shillings. Details of this and more in our corporate briefs.
Controlling the largest market share of Kenya's telco sector, Safaricom is leveraging on technological advancement to grow its portfolio amid COVID-19 disruptions that have eaten into subscribers' earnings. With the newly launched innovative device financing project enabled by Android dubbed Lipa Mdogo Mdogo, customers can now access a brand new 4G-enabled smartphone by paying as low as 20 shillings daily for the devices. In a statement to Newsroom, Safaricom CEO Peter Ndegwa says everyone is going through tough economic times. This product comes as a testament of a commitment to a purpose of transforming lives. Under the initiative, qualifying customers can access the internet through the new Ndray Pro, a 4G Android smartphone. And Equity has scooped 3 top awards at this year's Euromoney Awards for Excellence. The bank has been awarded Best Bank in Africa, Excellence in Leadership in Africa, and for the second time in a row, Africa's Best Digital Bank. Euromoney in the statement noted that under the stewardship of Chief Executive Dr. James Mwangi, the group has come a long way from a traditional brick-and-mortar institution. After 2 years of extensive investment in digital technology, it now better reflects the changing needs and behavior of its customer base. This year, Euromoney introduced the Excellence in Leadership Award category that recognized the efforts made by banks in responding to COVID-19 pandemic for its employees, clients, owners of businesses, societies, and economies. Finally, the Kenya Bureau of Standards has suspended 3 companies from manufacturing and importing of face masks. The 3 companies, Wonders General Supplies Limited, which makes Wonders, Arax Mills Limited, which makes Arax, and Hela Intimate EPZ, have been instructed to discontinue manufacturing of offering for sale the affected brands of face masks. The manufacturers are required to recall all the substandard masks from the market and institute corrective actions whose effectiveness shall be confirmed by KEBS before the suspension of the standardization mark permits is lifted. The manufacturers are required to recall all the substandard masks from the market and institute corrective actions whose effectiveness shall be confirmed by KEBS before the suspension of the standardization mark permits is lifted. KEBS has also further developed 3 standards to guide the manufacture of face masks to help fight COVID-19 pandemic.
And now Emirates has become the first airline to offer free COVID-19 insurance as it tries to get people flying again. Passengers will be covered for medical treatment, hotel quarantine, and even their funeral if they catch the coronavirus while traveling. Details of this and more in our International Business News Roundup.
The announcement by Emirates comes as carriers around the world have been hit hard by measures to tackle the coronavirus pandemic. The company said the offer, which is valid for 31 days from the start of passengers' journey, will be available immediately and run until the end of October. The coverage is free to all customers regardless of class of travel or destination and is applied automatically with no need to register. The Dubai-based carrier said the insurance would cover medical expenses of up to 150,000 euros. It would also pay for the cost of quarantining in a hotel for up to 2 weeks at 100 euros per day. In the event of a passenger's death due to COVID-19, the insurance cover will provide 1,500 euros towards the cost of their funeral. Air travel has slumped this year as countries shut their borders and people remain concerned about potentially becoming infected in flights or while traveling. The International Air Transport Association projects the industry to incur losses in excess of $84 billion this year, with revenues falling by half compared to 2019. And gold hurtled to record peaks Tuesday before the sheer scale of its gains drew a burst of profit-taking, which in turn helped the dollar from 2-year lows and curbed early equity gains. The precious metal had stormed almost $40 higher at one point to reach $1,980 an ounce only for a wave of selling to slap it back to $1,940 in wild trade. According to Reuters, gold is still up over $125 in little more than a week as investors wager the Federal Reserve will reaffirm its super easy policies at its meeting this week and perhaps signal a tolerance for higher inflation in the long run. Finally, Nissan says it expects to make an annual operating loss for a second straight year as the coronavirus pandemic hampers its efforts to emerge from a deep slump in sales. It forecasts an operating loss of 470 billion yen, which would be its biggest according to Nissan's data history and much larger than analysts' estimate of 262.8 billion yen. Nissan predicted revenue would plunge by a fifth to 7.8 trillion yen and global vehicle sales would fall by 16.3%.
Let's now do some sports, and the Kenyan tennis star Angela Okutoi is saddened by the postponement of the Youth Olympics, which were moved from next year to 2026. The lengthy rescheduling of the Games for 4 years has impacted negatively on the career of the 16-year-old girl who will miss out on the once-in-a-lifetime chance to play at the Youth Olympics because of age.
The postponement of the Youth Olympic Games for a period of 4 years has hit hard on Kenyan tennis star Angela Okutoi. The lengthy postponement of the Youth Games from 2022 to 2026 means the 16-year-old will miss out on a chance to represent the country at the Youth Games because she will be too old to compete in 2026. The Youth Olympic Games happen every 4 years and target boys and girls aged between 14 to 18 years. Senegalese capital Dakar was due to host the Youth Olympics in 2022, but the International Olympic Committee said they will not happen until 2026. IOC President Thomas Bach explained that the fourth edition of the Games was postponed due to a financial crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic. In addition, Okutoi's ranking could have entitled her to preparation funding from the IOC's Olympic Solidarity Fund. She is Kenya's top-ranked girl but sits in position 240 in the world. She won the Under-14 singles title at the African Junior Championships in Algeria in 2018.
And now Real Madrid has reported that striker Mariano Diaz has tested positive for coronavirus, but the 26-year-old Spanish-born player is in perfect health and complying with the sanitary isolation protocol at home. Meanwhile, injured PSG striker Kylian Mbappe will miss the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal against Italian side Atalanta in Lisbon on the 12th of August due to an ankle injury that has ruled him out for the next 3 weeks.
Forward Kylian Mbappe will miss the Champions League quarter-final against Atalanta in Lisbon after he sustained an ankle injury during the French Cup final against Saint-Etienne on Friday. France international Mbappe left the pitch in tears after being fouled by Saint-Etienne defender Loic Perrin in the first half of PSG's victory. Mbappe has been ruled out for 3 weeks and could return for the semi-final on the 18th of August should PSG qualify. The conclusion of this season's Champions League, delayed by the coronavirus pandemic, will consist of an 8-team straight knockout tournament in the Portuguese capital, with the final being played on the 23rd of August. Meanwhile, Manchester City could make Valencia winger Ferran Torres their first summer signing to replace Leroy Sané. Valencia want £40 million for Torres, who has a year left on his contract with the La Liga club, and the 20-year-old Spain international is keen on a move to the Etihad Stadium. Germany forward Sané left City for Bundesliga giants Bayern Munich. City, who finished second in the Premier League, are also expected to target central defenders this summer. Torres may leave just after former Watford manager Javi Gracia has been appointed the new manager of Valencia. 55-year-old Gracia led the Hornets to 11th position in the Premier League, as well as the FA Cup final last season, but was sacked after a poor start to the new campaign. Valencia finished 9th in La Liga this season, having claimed 4th place and won the Copa del Rey in 2018-2019.
Well, that's it from the news team today, the 28th of July, 2020. As always, thank you, Kenya, for watching. My name is Catherine Achieng'a. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Lucy Mwaura. So how does your weather look like tomorrow? Irene Muchuma is up next with the day's weather, and she tells me it's going to be pretty cold. So remember to keep warm. Good night and God bless. But let's take a look at the details of the weather report.
That's right, Kate. It has been a chilly day here in the capital, and tomorrow we are not expecting many changes, as much as the sun will be out at 6:37 a.m. in Nairobi. It will be chilly and cloudy over most parts of the city, and that would require us to be warm until late in the afternoon. Good evening, everyone, from wherever you are. This is Channel 1 Weather Updates. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. Nairobi area, central parts of the country, the Lake Basin region and western parts of the country are experiencing scattered wet conditions. This, as the rest of the country, is covered with scattered clouds, and that is how it will be for the rest of the night. The morning will be cool and cloudy in the capital. Similarly, in Meru and Nyeri, there will be rains in Eldoret, Kisii, Kitale, and a few areas over the northwestern parts of the country. Sunny conditions will dominate the northeastern parts of the country, Mandera, Garissa, Marsabit, and also in Lamu. It will be cloudy at the coastal strip, and we are expecting wet conditions in Mombasa and Malindi, though of a few places. For you in Machakos, Makindu, Voi, expect sunny conditions to prevail, as much as there could be some cloudiness during the morning hours. In the afternoon, we'll see changes over the western parts of the country. These are showers accompanied by thunderstorms in Kisii, Kitale, Eldoret, and a few areas over the northwestern parts of the country. Sunny conditions will continue over the northeastern parts of the country. At the coastal strip, after short sun intervals, there will be showers in Malindi, Lamu, and Mombasa. The southeastern lowlands will continue to experience sunny conditions. Let's have a look at temperatures. The capital will have maximum of 22 degrees Celsius. The highest temperatures across the country will be in Mandera. That will be at 34 degrees Celsius. And on that note, let's now cross the borders and see how it will be in other parts of the world. You have a good night and a blessed day ahead.
I greet you all in Jesus' name. Once again, we thank God for this opportunity that the Lord has given us just to be in His presence and to declare His goodness in the land of the living. I want us to encourage ourselves from the book of 2 Chronicles 14 and verses 11. And the Bible says that, and Asa made prayer